Hi, I'm Simon Mannering, and today I'm talking to Jay Samit, who's the CEO of SocialVibe, which is an advertising network that allows consumers to connect with causes that are meaningful to them. So I wanted to start by talking, Jay, today about SocialVibe. Just firstly, tell us a little bit about what it is and how people get involved.
SocialVibe's real simple. There are millions and millions of people on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, spending time talking with their friends. Advertisers would like to get into that conversation, and so we allow people to choose a charity, and any ads that they decide they want to engage with, any brands they want to work with, that money goes to their charity.
Okay, so explain the connection between the brand, the consumer, and the site.
Okay, so from a brand wants people to share their experience with the brand. So for example, if you're using a new Coffee Mate flavor, did you like that flavor? If you then send that out and tell your friends, my favorite Coffee Mate flavor is XYZ, Coffee Mate then is paying SocialVibe, and SocialVibe takes a portion of those funds and they go to your cause. So you can select any cause. We work with dozens of charities from around the world. So whether it's Water for Africa or planting trees or getting vaccinations, whatever your cause is, down to local charities. So we have many celebrities on SocialVibe that have passion around a specific cause. So it's taking that person's passion, gets them to engage with the advertiser's message, and everyone wins.
You know, it's interesting. I imagine that consumers are probably more predisposed to get involved than brands, in a sense, because consumers simply understand that the value of giving is a reward in itself. Well, brands obviously, understandably, are driven by the bottom line. I mean, if you could say anything to brands out there as to why they should be involved, what would you say?
Well, typically brands that do cause marketing, and a great example that I use is Avon. Avon sells by women to women, so every woman has the potential horror of breast cancer. So Avon associated with breast cancer was a great corporate cause marriage. If you have a movie opening this Friday, there isn't a cause tied to that movie. If you have a new flavor of toothpaste, QSR or car, it doesn't really make sense. But the consumer does. So we disintermediate that, say, I as a consumer am passionate about the Red Cross. I'm thrilled that these brands would like to help my charity. I'm happy to watch their ad, answer their question, give my full attention for that 30 seconds a day, a minute a day. Compared to everybody else that's bombarding us that doesn't care about helping me, I tune those ads out.
You know, it's so important, and I sometimes feel like some brands don't realize the value it can offer them, and in a way that translates to the bottom line. That goodwill engenders loyalty. It engenders just interest in a brand outright, particularly in a competitive marketplace right now with the economy as it is, and in light of the meltdown of 2008, where a lot of distrust has fallen out of sort of CEOs that were seen to be lining their own pockets and so on. So what are the plans for, what are you excited about now?
Well, what I'm excited about is if you realize that most of your branding decisions happen between 15 and 25, and now we have a generation that watches less TV, doesn't get magazines, doesn't get newspapers, isn't listening to radio, it is hard for the brands to reach them, let alone engage them and get them in the conversation. So to give you an example of one that was amazing to me, there's a new flavor of sweetener. It's a natural sweetener called Truvia.
Right.
How do you get a new brand out? Their message from their agency was associate the word Truvia with sweet. So they asked us if we would go to our members and ask them, what's your sweetest moment? Would you upload a picture of your sweetest moment?
Right.
And would you send that out to your friends? I was shocked that thousands upon thousands upload the picture of their pet, their child being born, hugging your father coming home from a year in Iraq. I mean,
right.
That is sweet, and that is what people talk about to each other on a Facebook. That is what you tweet about. You're having a real conversation.
Right.
And Truvia got their name in every one of those conversations. Fast forward, if you looked how Google has changed search to real-time search, if this week you go on Google and you search Truvia or Kraft or any of the brands working with us, we're the first 3 or 4 things that come up in search. Not because of some crazy search engine optimization, because real consumers, tens of thousands of them, are having conversations, and that brand is in the conversation. You asked me what I'm excited about going into 2010. More and more of the conversations that we're having with our friends online, we're having when and where they fit into our time,
Right.
and that means we're doing it from a handset. So
Right.
you'll see us be able to work across all the platforms of smartphones, for you to work for SocialVibe, to you're waiting in line for your mom to pick you up, or you're the mom waiting for the kid to get out of school. You can sit in those 5 minutes and earn money for your charity.
I mean, that's so exciting. I mean, like, tell us how you think mobile community, the rise of mobile community will affect, like, where you are will obviously affect your business. How do you think it will change it?
Well, when I look at it from the advertiser perspective, they're paying other networks in ABC or this or that to be in between them and the consumer.
Right.
We're servicing that same role, but we're doing it for charity.
Right.
So the brand feels good, the consumer wants to participate, the consumer feels an appreciation for that brand, and again, it's down to personal, where the cause is your local animal shelter, the cause
Right.
is your kid's school, and you say, wow, I live in a small town, how could I ever get Procter & Gamble or Coke or Kraft dollars
Fantastic, yeah.
for my little cause? And you go, wow, these people are caring about my cause, they're
Right.
giving me money for my cause. Of course I'm going to talk about that to my friends, I'm going to share it and get them involved.
And it's a very active way that, for example, schools or pet shelters could get involved. They could actually use the
Yeah.
platform as a way to rally their little communities, specific
And
communities.
so
to
we're
do
putting
something.
out an API for any 501c3 so every charity can benefit. And literally, who doesn't have, we're only talking 2 minutes a day
Right,
to give back.
right.
And when you think of all the people that go on a walk or a march or a cause or donate time, 60 million Americans last year donated time.
Tell us a little bit about your background, because I'd really love people to appreciate how, versed you are in the for-profit world, and then how meaningful this shift is for you. I mean, you...
Well, in all my corporate roles, when I was executive vice president at Sony, I was involved in tsunami aid and Concert for Katrina. It was always about how can you marshal what your corporate agenda is, which is reaching an audience with a certain message, with being able to cause positive change.
Right.
And when you can get them to line up, it benefits everybody. So throwing those types of concerts, when President Clinton was in the White House, he asked me how could we get computers into the schools and do this as a charity and get all the tech leaders to contribute time, energy, technology resources.
Right.
And it was called the Bridge to the 21st Century. And within 2 years, every classroom in America had a computer and was wired to the internet. So it's amazing what you can do with the little bit of extra time that you have. And so what drove me to SocialVibe is we all have 2 minutes. There's never a day so far that we have more than 2 minutes of stuff for you to do.
Right, right. And your greatest hope for SocialVibe, I mean, your grandest vision, what would it be?
Well, the grandest vision goes two ways. So not only will we be the most efficient way for advertisers to reach their audience, ergo millions and millions of dollars then go to charity, but if we're able to donate that kind of wealth to charity, maybe we can have an impact to make sure that charities are more efficiently run.
Right.
So the charities that we let sign up have to make sure X percentage of the money actually goes to the cause.
Right.
Because there's some charities that don't work that way.
And can you speak to the transparency on SocialVibe, like in terms of how much goes where?
Yeah, so a third of all the dollars go right out to the charity.
Right.
The rest is divided up between the cost of overhead, and the best way to look at it is right now we're not profitable, so we are losing money, so the charity is coming out way ahead. We're
Right.
making sure that they make money even if we're not. We have distribution partners that also get a cut depending on whose audience we're taking into it. But the goal is always to make this the same cost to an advertiser, but deliver better results than they can get from any other ad network.
Fantastic. I mean, so it sounds like, for consumers, all we're asking really is for your attention. And for brands, there's so much goodwill to be had. Plus, they can do it in a targeted way in terms of reaching the audience they want. So, I mean, I think it's incredibly meaningful what's being done at SocialVibe, and thank you for your time, Jay. Really appreciate it.
Come to the site.